Punk is showing in the back, and man, his face is all marked up from last night, and he walks out and he speaks about all the loss he has dealt with over the last several months. And he mentions Duke Rufus, Larry his dog, and then Kerwin Silfies, Davey Coates, Jim Shank, and then Bo Looters just recently on April the 1st. And he really goes out of his way to put over all the behind-the-scenes people, the real heroes, and everybody cheers as he brings up like the production staff. And it was almost like he named all of these people that had passed away, and he said, and then I lost last night. And he quickly just like says, and my loss does not equate to any of what I just said right there.
He realized how silly it sounded.
It did. Right? It almost felt like a real-time pivot because he was like listing off the losses he's had, and then I lost last night as though like that's a sequitur to this.
But I thought he saved it.
He did. He's like this last night's loss doesn't compare to any of these other losses.
Yeah.
And he says he's still processing his grief, but was able to do it with you, the people. He says, I was never supposed to be champion. I thought my 3-minute reign at SummerSlam, that would be enough. But I stayed ready in case an opportunity arose, and it did. And he won the title last year, and if it hadn't have been for me, Jey Uso would be the one standing here. And boy, does Jey Uso get booed to the point that Punk like punches back. He's like, I don't know why you're booing this guy. He's great. And then
this was like, I mean, if it wasn't already obvious enough, like I think a great temperature check on the audience's reactions to Jey Uso. Now let's maybe be clear. This crowd is not always going to be the same as the other crowds that you get week to week. Like this is a much more, I would say, I don't know, diehard audience, if you want to call them that. So they are going to be a lot more sort of like anti whatever this company is shoving at them, and they're going to be a lot more sort of like independent in their own reactions. But it does represent a giant section of the audience right now that does not want to see Jey Uso in a singles run.
A lot of Cameron fans.
Perhaps, yes.
And he says, I'm still the best in the world. I proved it. I'm not going home. I'm not going on vacation. I'm going to stay ready because you never know when a title shot will fall out of the sky. And with that, Cody Rhodes comes out with his wrecked up eye, and Punk takes a look at this eye and asks, what, did I go too long here? And Cody explains that, this is your show. And basically he says, we all thought you were going to lose your mind. It's like, well, that was last night on TMZ.
But TMZ, yeah.
I'm not totally fine about this. This was quite the quite the timing for this type of promo with Cody and Punk. And Rhodes says, you're in good spirits here, and I'm the one feeling and looking like a loser. And Punk just immediately responds, should I feel like a loser? And it was like this crowd was like, yes. And Punk's like, he subsides. He's like, I don't feel like a loser. Cody, you had a tough job. You had to beat a friend on Saturday. I got to beat up someone I hate. That's a lot easier. And Punk then eyes his belt and repeats the line about staying ready in case a title shot falls out of the sky. And as he's leaving, Cody just says, just say when. And planting a seed that we might not see harvest for a while, but certainly they wanted you to have that direction at some point in time, which we always felt would be a match they would get to. It's kind of amazing it's been held off like this long between them.
But I mean, considering the show that it's on and the show that it just followed, I mean, it really feels like they are calling their shot for next year's WrestleMania.
You think it could be that long? Yeah.
Well, like you said, John, like, is there a bigger match that they can make right now than this? Right. And you can feel confident that next year this will be just as hot of a combination. So yeah, like this sort of is the perfect time to maybe call that out, and we'll see how TKO will screw it up in that span of time.
That's Cameron.
That's
and
right.
CM Punk is gonna come rap.
Yeah.
So maybe this is you don't see this being a Clash in Italy way.
Anything is possible, John.
Anything
a year is a long time, to predict something with. First of all, I thought that, man, excellent promo from Punk. He is, first of all, underscoring the names that were listed on his jacket. Again, just kind of hearing it from him outside of the great job Michael Cole did last night. I thought just a wonderful way to pay tribute to people who have passed. And, I would have thought he would have spoken a little bit about the particular ending to the match that we saw, where I think for a lot of people's interpretation, it was some form of Punk realizing and admitting that Reigns might be right in saying that he's old. there was none of that selling from Punk tonight. Like, there was no acknowledgement of like him even getting tired. Like, he just simply said, it wasn't my night, as if like, he got caught by like a, like a KO or something. Nothing really in particular about the way the match ended, which I was honestly a little bit disappointed by, because I felt like the ending of the match was so poetic that Punk kind of ignoring it maybe takes away a little from the impact of it. But of course, I also understand he's now one of your top baby faces, actually the top baby face, at least at the very top of the card, not Obafemi aside. And you don't want your top babyface admitting that they're old, for really much reason. Even though I'm sure he would be able to make that compelling, but I understand not doing it. Now Cody, on the other hand, this was, I think, a curious, reappearance from him after WrestleMania, because I think
in terms of the actual like story, like what was his purpose coming out here?
So I guess he did say to Punk on Friday that we will both be there on Monday in the ring with our belts. And maybe that was simply it, right?
This would kind of feel like rubbing it in, would it not?
Yeah, kind of. But yeah, he didn't have that much of a reason.
Like, he came out, he was like, okay, it's one thing, like, if this guy was like, losing his mind over this loss, he's here to console his friend, but his friend's fine. He's in great spirits. Like, Cody came out here, he had nothing to announce. He had nothing to tell Punk. He was just like, oh, you're good. And like, there was literally no reason for Cody other than Cody's on the show.
Maybe he had something else to say before, but he forgot about it. Who knows? But
possible.
I mean, I think at least and I think a lot of people were simply looking for some clarity on Cody Rhodes' status as either a heel or a babyface coming off of that match, right? Or, I mean, they might have turned like 2 or 3 times in the body of the match alone. Here, he got a babyface reaction, kind of walked out like a babyface, at least, looking, selling, like eliciting some level of sympathy, in my opinion. And I would say, like, his demeanor in this interaction looked like he was almost disappointed in himself, in perhaps both in the damage it took, and also, like, I would interpret in the way he won the match via, well, cheating, via requiring Pat McAfee as some level of distraction. So my read is that maybe he's still a babyface, but I mean, I don't know how to exactly confirm that or say that definitively.
Yeah, I mean, you really have to adjust the aperture here to try and pull something out of this, because if not for that low blow spot for Punk, like, you could have told the story that's like, this guy lost, but he lost admirably, and look at him, he's proud of his performance. And here's Cody, who went to like these depths to beat Randy Orton, and he feels like he did not win in an admirable way. But like, I can't even pull that one out, because such a big point was Punk, like, just, he goes to kick the guy in the balls to try and win. It's like, I don't know.
But somehow, like, when Punk did it felt admirable. It felt perfectly fair.
Yeah, it was not considered this heel tactic, I guess, that if Cody had done the same thing, that would have been. So
yeah. But as far as like creating a big moment between, like, the 2 guys who closed SmackDown and also potentially your WrestleMania main event for next year, I mean, this felt really like a great, big, nice interaction between them.
The purpose was the last line. Just say when. That was the purpose of this segment, to throw that into people's minds. It is WrestleMania month at postwrestling.com. Wei Ting and John Pollock go live all WrestleMania week, beginning Monday, April the 13th. Sign up for the Post Wrestling Cafe and you will get live shows all week long, leading into our coverage that weekend of WrestleMania 42. This month, we're also bringing you reviews of Spring Break 2 from New Orleans in 2018 and a special Patrons Pick edition of Rewind Away. Sign up now at postwrestlingcafe.com, and this month, new subscribers get 50% off for the first month. Head on over to postwrestlingcafe.com.